who they are. Miss Dodd,
Here.
Miss Ryan,
Here. Oh, here.
I'm here. Miss Grismkowski,
I'm here.
Miss Cotter. Mr. Dimick,
Here.
and Mr. Wiseman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Could I have a recommendation to approve the agenda for the special board meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented for the special board meeting.
Do I have a second? All right, motion made by Member Dodd, seconded by Member Ryan. Any questions? Seeing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Miss Dodd,
Yes.
Miss Ryan,
Yes.
Miss Cotter,
Yes.
Mr. Dimick,
Yes.
Miss Grismkowski,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public comments, I do not think there are any public comments. Do we have any public comments, Heather? Seeing none, next is closed session for the purpose of negotiations. Could I have a motion to adjourn to closed session?
So moved for closed session.
Second.
Second.
Who was first? All right, motion made by Member Cotter, seconded by Member Grismkowski. Any questions? Seeing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Miss Cotter,
Yes.
Miss Grismkowski,
Yes.
Miss Ryan,
Yes.
Miss Dodd,
Yes.
Mr. Dimick.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Meeting is adjourned. that are wondering why we walked in, we were in a closed session at 5 o'clock. That closed session has adjourned, and based on form, we need to now reopen our meeting that began at 5 o'clock. So
I'll
do I
make
have
a
motion?
motion to reopen our meeting.
And do I- All right, motion made by Member Dodd, supported by Member Griswoldowski. Could I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Griswoldowski?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Mr. Wiseman?
Yes. Now I need to have a motion to close the special board meeting. Do I have a motion to close?
I'll make a motion to close the special board meeting.
And do I have a second?
I'll support.
All right, motion made by Member Dodd and then supported by, who was that? Griswoldowski. Instead of a roll call, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, now we're going to have the regular meeting. That's why everybody's here, right? So with that, could I have a roll call for our Huron Valley Schools regular board meeting of April 28th? Secretary Pastana, could I have a roll call, please?
Absolutely. I am present. Ms. Griswoldowski?
Here.
Mr. Dimick?
Here.
Ms. Ryan?
Here.
Ms. Dodd?
Here.
Ms. Cotter?
Here.
Mr. Wiseman?
Yes, I'm here.
We have a quorum.
Great. Could we all stand if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have before us the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Motion made by Member Ryan. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
And second by Member Dimick. Any questions regarding the agenda? Seeing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Griswoldowski?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. Next on the agenda, is communication reports, items from my board president. Just very quickly, I do want to say thank you for board members that participated in the last few weeks since the last board meeting on Vibe in the Valley. Vibe in the Valley is an opportunity for members of the school board to sit down really and get a listen primarily and talk through with a representative group of our teachers at both the secondary and elementary. It's 2 meetings, one's secondary, one's elementary, to really kind of get an idea of what's going on in the district, to hear from them on suggestions that they might have or information that they would like us to share with them. It's something that we've been doing for the last several years, and it's part of our open dialogue that we have with our most important people, and that's our teachers and all the people that support them. So I just want to say thank you for that. Next on the agenda, I'll turn it over to recognition. Dr. Salah.
Thank you, Mr. President. And this evening, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Rothler for our first Huron Valley Hero.
Good evening. As you know, we are so fortunate to have many wonderful community partners in our district. Tonight, we wanted to take the time to recognize some of those heroes who truly make a difference. I would like to invite our Director of Student Support Services, Terry Thompson, up, along with our Board Trustee, Jacob Dimick.
Good evening. Just briefly, and also if Darlene Garrison, one of my colleagues here from Milford High School, could join me. Very briefly, we are proud to recognize our Knights of Columbus, 2 gentlemen here with us this evening, Bill Dillon and Alan Darish. We are just appreciative of your work. Their humble work has graciously supplemented our Huron Valley students with unique abilities with many items, but to name a few: sensory, alternative seating for some of our classrooms, And a most recent purchase at Spring Mills, our communication board, which I believe we have on the monitor. Thank you so much. This board really enhances and empowers students with limited verbal output to either ask questions, seek reinforcement, or to be able to better improve their communication output with their peers. So we're so appreciative of your service. For those of you in the viewing audience or at home, you may recognize these gentlemen who dangerously walk the median in the fall and in the spring, handing out those Tootsie Rolls. So much of their proceeds come back to Huron Valley School Student Support Services for just the named few items and so much more. So a very brief but a big thank you for your contributions to our students in Huron Valley Schools. Thank you very much.
I don't know if the board had any questions or comments for them?
Board of Education, any comments? Yes, Lindsay?
Just a quick comment. My grandfather and my father always both participated in the Knights of Columbus, and we're very fortunate here in Huron Valley to have your group and the support you give our special needs students. So thank you very much.
Thank you. It's one of our tenants, to help the mentally impaired. We've done that here as well as Mill Springs, and you can count on us for many, many more years.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You certainly make a difference, and we very much appreciate it. Any other comments? Seeing none, Dr. Slough?
Yes, next up, we have the HOT robotics team, and Ms. Rothler will serve as the advocate for this one as well.
At our most recent Board of Education meeting, President Tom Wiseman highlighted the incredible accomplishments of our HOT Team Robotics. We are incredibly proud of their dedication, their innovation, and teamwork. Out of 163 teams, the HVS robotics team emerged as the state champion earlier this month, which is a remarkable achievement. Their journey continued on the national stage in Houston, where they advanced to the division playoff round, showcasing their talent among the best teams in the country. I would like to now invite the HVS Hot Robotics team up here, along with Board Secretary Denise Pastana, to present this team with the special recognition they deserve. Let's give them a round of applause as they make their way up. You can all come, or one, however you want to do it.
Everybody here? So we, as the Board of Education, want to present you with a certificate. We are all very proud of you. We enjoy what you do. I know quite a few of us have come on your tours, and we are proud of all that you do here for us and for your team in Huron Valley. If anybody wants to talk about your HOT team, you can come up to the mic. Yeah, come on up.
Hi, I'm Monica Biondo Smith. I'm a junior here at Milford. HOT Team has meant a lot to me. Not only the people, but like the experiences. And States is just one of those. Like you meet people from around the world, just learn a lot. Like it's great for like careers and scholarships, definitely as well. So it's just meant a lot. That's all. Thank you, mentors.
While Denise is giving their certificate, if anybody else from the board has a question, comment?
Any questions, any comments? Yes, Laura?
I was really happy to come see you when you were in the Milford gym, and I was watching everybody, and I have to admit, I've been over to the Proving Grounds to see the practice stuff, but I'd never seen you compared to other groups. And I know really a lot of nothing. That's not my area of expertise. But what I noticed about your team is your confidence, and your machinery moved so smoothly, and it did what it was supposed to do, like it was part of the team, not this robot or this machinery that you were moving. It just seemed like it was really entwined with you and that you all were very much part of it. I was so impressed. And knowing how each of your groups work together to make this happen, it's no easy feat to be able to do that as a big group. So I'm very impressed. I know nothing, but that doesn't mean a girl still can't be impressed with what you do. And I'm so proud every time you're out there representing us, because I know you're being great stewards of our school. You're definitely learning things yourselves, but you're also good sports and out there kind of learning from the other teams too, so you can improve the next year. So congratulations.
Any other comments? Yes, Amy.
I love Hot Team. I love you guys. I think anytime that we can combine pretty much everything you learn at school, outside of school, and then you're successful at it, that is the ultimate of education. It's interesting because I wasn't able to come this year. I was there last year, and I was blown away. Everybody else kind of looked like amateurs, and you all look like, experts. But what's really interesting about that is the faces change year after year, but the excellence is still there. So as you pass your excellence on to the next group, and those of you that are juniors and seniors and you're passing it on, know that what you're doing is so incredibly special, and it does have great impact for what you will graduate from Huron Valley, and when you move on, it will have great impact for your future. So well done, well done.
Lindsay.
Yes, maybe I have missed it, but I was looking online to find out, how did things go in Houston? Could someone share that?
They went pretty well up until the end. We were doing great in the first couple of days, but in the last few days we made some important mistakes, and we ended up getting eliminated in the second round of playoffs.
That's okay. I'm glad that you made it out to Houston. There was can one of you share with me how many schools were out there, or how many teams competed in the national?
Hi, my name is Asher. I'm a junior at IA West. And at the national level, well, it's technically the international level with many international teams there. I think there are about 600 teams at the entire venue. In our division, there are about 80 teams. So we had to compete against just 80 teams in our division, but everyone together was around 600.
Well, I want to thank our team for representing Huron Valley Schools. Outstanding job. Thank you.
Any other comments? Not only did you represent Huron Valley Schools, but you represented the entire state of Michigan, and job well done. As many of us have had the opportunity to visit, it's just an incredible sight. It's something that we're very proud of, that we provide that opportunity. Very grateful to the mentors, because it wouldn't happen. And this is a representative group of all of our high schools. And they spend an enormous amount of time during their season, because this doesn't happen during regular school hours. Right, guys? This happens after school. And when we talk about the proving grounds, we're not talking about the coffee place downtown Milford, all right? We're talking about the GM Proving Grounds, and they're one of our sponsors, along with many other industries, manufacturing companies. But I do want to do a shout out. A couple questions. Some people are watching this, and we're talking about robotics, and we're talking about this and that. Could anybody just briefly explain to us what you had to do? What got you to Houston? I mean, did you just grow a plant, or what did you do? Help us know what you did. I know what you did. Come on, somebody. Come on. When we meet at the Proving Grounds once a year, and you kind of bring us all the way around, nobody's very shy about talking about all the wonderful things you do. So why don't you kind of very briefly tell us?
So we have to communicate a lot, because there's like 5-6 sub-teams of us with like 20 or so mentors, 50 so students. So we all have to put in our minds together. We have a design meeting at the beginning. So we all come up with designs, and then we make that, and we add those into the robot. And we share ideas with each other. So like my group, the electrical sub-team, we share ideas with the programming sub-team so they know what to do. And it's like a whole process of that sort of thing.
And you have a goal in mind that the robot that you're building
Yes.
changes year after year.
Mm-hmm.
And what were some of the things that robot had to do based on your design and your commands?
So this year, the 2025 game was Reefscape, which we had to, we had to put the algae, which are like little, like almost playground balls. And do you want to? You volunteered.
Yep.
So this year, the main scoring object this year was these pieces of PVC pipe about 6 inches long. We had to put them onto this about 7 foot tall set of poles that had high, medium, and 2 low levels. And the higher you ended up scoring the pipes, the more points you got. A secondary part of the game was taking balls, which started on the tree of pipes, and you had to take them and you had to put them up in a net, which was, I think, almost 10 feet tall this year. So we had to have a lot of thought put into the design and like how we get our robot to be so tall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's an amazing process because you start with nothing, right? And you come up, this is what you have to do, this is what your goal is, what you have in mind, and you're able to put all that together with the various groups, and not only did you achieve that, you were able to move on to the internationals down in Houston. So you were the best of the best representing us in the rest of the state. So an amazing job, because not only is it communications and marketing and design and CAD, it's a lot of machinery working, drill presses and Bridgeports and lathes to equip that robot. So you really start at ground zero and you end up with something that's just absolutely incredible. So maybe one of the things that we could do to get even a better idea is maybe we can get some highlights put out on our website for people that are watching this, so that they know exactly what you did and they can visualize it. So we've all been there, we've all seen it, and it's absolutely incredible. So job well done, appreciate it. What does HOT stand for? Why are you called HOT Robotics?
We're called Hot Robotics because we are the heroes of tomorrow.
That's right, HOT stands for Heroes of Tomorrow. So very important point. So thank you very much for your time and your effort.
Let's give them another round of applause as we make the roll.
And I know there's a lot of you, and I know that you spend a lot of time. If you'd like to stay, you can. If you'd like to leave, I'll do a very quick recess before our next presentation. It's up to you. Don't hesitate. Next on the agenda is Huron Valley highlights, school presentations. Dr. Salah?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This evening we have Harbor High School, and with Harbor, I'm going to introduce the proud principal of Harbor, Mr. Ben Dowker.
Thank you. My job here tonight is actually just to introduce other people, so that's pretty easy. I am just really, really proud of my role in Huron Valley, and I couldn't be more proud of our students and our staff, and today is just a tiny little bit of what I get to show that they do every single day. And we're gonna look at some really, really cool art today. So I'm gonna introduce the folks who are helping me this evening during the presentation, and when I introduce you, if you would, please come up here. You can hide behind me for the moment being. So the presenters for our students are Rosalina Green-Chissis. Rosalina has been a student at Harbor High School for a couple years, and I think we've had every family member come through Harbor High School, and she feels like family right now. Next up is Milo Hipkins. Milo is a student of ours and has been since 9th grade, second year at OSTC in the graphic arts program, so this fits right in. And next up is Mr. Lawson, our art instructor, who has been shepherding this program for years. So first up, I'm going to have Rosalina come up and talk a little bit about the first 2 classes that we offer at Harbor High School, and then Milo will do the second 2, and then we'll just look at a ton of really beautiful pictures that we have on display in our presentation.
Hello, my name is Rose, and I'll be talking about the fundamentals of design, which focuses on elements and principles of design, colors, harmony, balance, and rhythm, as well as composition and real-world application. The second slide is about drawing and painting, which focuses on mixed media, real life as depicted as the image above, which is supposed to be Eminem, or abstract like the one at the bottom with the colors. It focuses on developing skills and techniques and can be expressive.
Next up, we got Milo. Sorry, Milo, you're a little bit shorter.
My name is Milo, and my first slide is 3D art and design sculpture. This class focuses on clay, stone, and found objects that represents nature and functional pottery. These are made with scale, form, and texture, and this class teaches the basics of sculpting, which is coil, pinch, and slab. My next slide is independent art, which is idea-driven, exploring media and problem solving. So you would solve your own problems instead of asking the teacher. And I think it's 5 assignments that you do in the class or more.
They do the problem solving because I'm usually not there, but that's besides the point. My name is Jared Lawson, so good evening to you all. Thanks for having us. I'm going to go through the next couple slides and talk about some of our students' artwork. We're going to showcase it to you, and then we'll have some questions at the end. But before I do that, I just want to say thank you to Sabrina and Milo for getting up here in front of a bunch of adults and talking. It's not easy, so a round of applause. Thank you guys. You're wonderful. And secondly, I want to take the chance to thank my administrator. Without his support, without his passion for education, without his prioritization of the art program, none of this would have been possible. We're going to continue to grow, good things in the future. It's came from basically nothing to something. So I just want to say thank you to Mr. Dowker for being there for us and all the students at Harbor. So on the first slide, if you guys see in the upper left-hand corner, that is an acrylic painting done, how big do you think it was, Milo? 2 by 3, done in acrylic paint, kind of like I imagine it as almost a photograph where the frog is in focus and the background is kind of fuzzy, but painted as such. Really wonderful job. Next to that is Rosalina's acrylic also, and if you can't see it, it's kind of hard to, but the butterflies and the flowers are all made out of dum-dum wrappers. So really cool mixed media piece, and that's kind of what we try to do in these independent-driven classes, is let these students come up with their own ideas and execute them, and then with the teacher's help, when they can't solve a problem, we try to figure it out together. To the right there was a sculpture done in clay, probably about 1.5 feet tall, 18 inches wide, ceramic, stoneware, and then acrylic painted on top. On the bottom there is a little bit of a charcoal and oil pastel done by one of our students. So just something that they thought they wanted to go for. At the top here in the blue is a silhouetted tree with an ombre background, done with oil pastels and acrylic paint. To the right is a bust out of ceramic with stain, done by one of our students. In the bottom there, the rather morbid looking one, is a really outstanding skull of a wolf. It does have a hand inside. I don't know whose it is, but neither here nor there. Clay, faux fur, a little bit of acrylic paint and gel. And then in the left-hand side is kind of a project that we do quite a bit, and it's scaling. So taking something small and making it rather large, and this person chose to do the watercolor, and it was a rather large painting, perhaps 3 feet by 2.5. She did a great job. And the upper left is one of our more mixed media pieces. This is done on wood with a variety of found objects inside of the room. We have done this project with found objects that students have brought from home, with found objects that have been found in the classroom or wherever we can rummage them. And we've also done it outside with things like rocks, leaves, and sticks. Temporary stuff that gets back to nature, but at the same time you can create something beautiful, cool, and temporary. To the right of that was a piece done that's supposed to resemble a rose instead of a vase, done out of electrical wire. He was a failed electrician, so. On the upper top there, we have the dragon that was all hand painted with acrylics and done in ceramic. And in the right is a silhouetted cat done in acrylic also on canvas. And then on the bottom right there is a student's pink flamingo. When it first started out, it looked like a chicken, so everyone said chicken for like 8 months. But ultimately, it ended up looking like a flamingo, and that's ceramic with acrylic paint too. So I just want to say, you know, the program really did start from nothing. We came a long way. I know we started off in a classroom that's probably 10 feet by 10 feet with absolutely no supplies, basically just painting supplies. We've grown it into now including ceramics and sculpture. We're getting an upgraded room next year where we're going to be able to do woodworking and more stone. With the help of Mr. Dowker, he's had us back financially to do everything. We've written numerous grants over the years to buy things from stone, sculpture and supplies, to repairs for kilns, to pottery wheels. We just received a grant to buy $1,000 worth of glaze. We try to do things on a larger scale to cut back on costs. We have borrowed and stolen from the district and other teachers things like pug mills to recycle our clay in order to cut down on costs. So we've done a lot of things, and the program has really benefited from it. And a lot of the times, our students are the ones doing the work. I don't like getting my hands dirty. So when it comes to recycling clay, I got to say thank you to them for doing it too. So thank you to everyone, and thank you to Huron Valley for supporting us also. We really appreciate it. And if there's any questions for me, or more importantly for these 2 stars, we'd love to hear you.
Questions, comments? Amy?
I love Harbor High School.
Well, thank you.
I love you guys. Thanks. Every year we get this amazing book that's filled with your art. It's filled with poems and lyrics that you write. And I really hope that dum-dum sucker butterfly, I really hope it's in there. And I have to tell you, you are, the work that you do is so creative, but it also speaks to me. And I think that is the most beautiful part about the art that your students do, is that it is so powerful, and it tells your story, and it's just beautiful. So thank you for sharing that with us, because it's fantastic.
I want to just say this right off. I did not plant that
Go to the microphone, please.
I did not plant that question. I did just give Heather 7 copies of this year's Harbor Inc. issue to give to you guys this evening.
You can pay me later, Ben.
There is another thing that has dum-dums made out of dum-dums in there too as well. So
Great. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Laura.
So I am not a child of robotics, but I am a child of the arts. And I know for me, the ability to access art in school was one of the big reasons that I kept going, and I was excited to go. It's where I really learned who I was, and I developed my understanding of myself and also the people around me. So, art is making things and learning about yourself, but it's also building community. And I'm glad that you took the chance to say, let's build this and let's do it at Harbor. We had a committee a few years ago called Academics, Arts, and Athletics, where we talked about what are the different things that we offer in different places. And I know I kept saying, well, can the kids at Harbor do music? are they going to be able to do this? And I know the big thing that they said was it's the art. Art is what they get to do at Harbor, and it looks like you've taken really full advantage of it. And so much of this art is stuff that I mean, I feel like it could compare to any adult's art anywhere and be in galleries all over the place. I'm so impressed. Some of it's going to be in my dreams tonight, I'm pretty sure. That's okay. I'm hoping it's the dum-dum art. We'll see. But thank you for believing in art and knowing why art is so important in every single school, not just our traditional high schools, but at Harbor too.
Any other comments? We're very proud of not only Harbor High School, but we always say we're a school district of 4 high schools: Milford High School, Lakeland High School, the IA, and Harbor High School. And Harbor High School is a place that's dear to all of us. You do great work there. Our mission is inspiring and building futures one student at a time, and I can't think of a better example of that than Harbor High School. This is just an example of the great work that the entire staff does at Huron at Harbor High School, because relevancy is extraordinarily important. And not only are you relevant, but you're giving students chances to explore, to be independent, to be real, to express their emotions, and at the same time do tremendous work academically. So, Jared, you gave a shout out to your students and our administrator, but I want to give you a shout out because I've been very fortunate to, along with other board members, to visit Harbor High School. And the enthusiasm that you displayed tonight is just an example of the enthusiasm and the love that the entire staff has for our students at Huron at Harbor High School. So thank you. Please pass on all of our congratulations in how important you play and what an important part you play in the lives of Huron Valley, our community, and more specifically, the students that attend. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That applause is not just for you, Ben.
Amy's asking for autographs.
Yeah. Yes. So with that, I know you start an early day. We'll take a short recess again for our students. Autograph. I try to get the media over. Our board member gets autographs. One of the things that I did fail to, before we turn it over to the superintendent for his communications, I do always read publicly. As a school board member, we appreciate our community who shares their public comments during designated times on our meeting agenda. This is an important opportunity for us as a Board of Education to hear the community. However, it is not a time for two-way communications. A regular meeting of the Board of Education is designated for the board to conduct the business of the Huron Valley Schools in open session in accordance with the Open Meeting Act. Comments that require follow-up investigation or communication will be handled by our superintendent or a member of his team. There are 2 segments in the agenda for public comments, in Section 3 and 7 respectively. 15 minutes have been allocated in Section 3 for public comments related to action or voting items or non-action items if time allows. The Board of Education will allocate more than 15 minutes for anyone to be heard or the public to be heard on voting items in Section 3 prior to the board voting on those items. All comments on non-action items will take place in Section 7 of the agenda if not already heard in Section 3. All speakers wishing to address the board must be present, and all individuals will be given an opportunity to speak. Each individual delivering public comments will have 3 minutes to share their communication. Individuals may only speak once and cannot share unused time with another person. A timer will be displayed on the screen so individuals can monitor their time. Once 3 minutes have elapsed, the timer will sound indicating that public comments have concluded, and the microphone will be turned off in preparation for the next speaker. The individual, as I said before, must be present. We ask that you share your name, address, and home school district when appropriate before sharing your comments. Furthermore, we request that you refrain from name calling. Comments must be related to school business and may not include personal attacks unrelated to school business. If you make such comments, I, as the board president, will, to the extent permitted under the First Amendment, interrupt or end your comment time. If you plan to share public comments, please complete the forms that are in the back of the room and hand them off to Ms. Goodell, who has her hand up, seated at my far left. Thank you for your professionalism and partnership. So with that, Dr. Salam.
Thank you, President Wiseman. I have just a couple things this evening. I just wanted to report out to the community that the planning for the new middle schools continues. We are quite pleased with the progress that has been made thus far. Over the course of the school year, we will have had a total of 4 meetings with a larger group that is a group that represents multiple stakeholders from across the community, and we will have had several what we'll call focus group meetings with individuals who have a specific area of expertise in supporting students throughout the school district. So, for example, we had a focus group for our student support services. We've had a focus group for the arts. We've had a focus group for athletics. We've had a focus group for school safety and security. I'm really, really excited and pleased with some of the designs that have been presented thus far. And I know at this point where we're at in the process is we are doing round 2 of the focus group meetings in order to review what has been designed to date. And then there will be a final meeting with the larger group on June 8th. So very excited about that progress. And again, just a big thank you to our community, our taxpayers. Without your support, I'm not sure where we would be as a school district. The amount of work that has transpired to create facilities that we can be proud of, that our students can be proud of, are breathtaking, and it's really, really exciting to see, and will pay huge dividends for years and years to come. Along that same vein, I would just reference there is a lot of construction actually happening right now at White Lake Middle School, adding 4 classrooms already, and both of our high schools are still undergoing some pretty significant construction. And, you know, we had the Hot Robotics team here today. I know they're going to benefit from a space here at Milford High School in the former leisure pool areas, what we're calling our multi-purpose room areas. And I know Hot is going to be using that area on a pretty regular basis, especially during their season. So continue to be excited about that work that's ongoing. Staffing right now for our board is we're sort of in the thick of staffing in preparation for next school year. We were able to get that information out, especially for our middle schools, a little earlier this year to help them, help our teachers and prepare for where they will be stationed next school year. We continue to do that work, but I'm pleased with the progress that we've made. where we're at this point. And finally, this evening for my comments, in February, for our listening audience, we had a board study session. And one of the topics we talked about in great detail was around our current practice regarding personal communication devices. In other words, smartwatches, cell phones, all the tools that we have at our disposal for being accessible and unfortunately sometimes in school interrupted. So one of the topics we talked about in some detail is around our current board policy as well as our current practice as a school district. And one of the steps that the board asked the administration to take was to develop a survey that could be distributed to our secondary students, to our parents, as well as to the teaching staff across the organization. Pleased to report that that survey went out just over a week ago at this point, and I spoke with our Director of Data Analysis and Assessment who closed that survey just today, and we had 2,700 responses in a week. So we have not conducted the analysis yet, so I can't tell you what it says, but we had a huge amount of participation and a lot of interest. So eager to share the results as we move forward and come up with some recommendations for how we will move forward as an organization. That concludes my remarks this evening. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Salam. Next on the agenda is student leadership. Chairperson for TLT. Do we have any student leadership tonight?
No student leadership tonight.
All right. Association communications. Jennifer?
Good evening. It's a very exciting evening tonight as we recognize this year's Friend of Education Award and our Outstanding Person in Education. The Huron Valley Education Association, the Huron Valley Educational Support Personnel, and the Huron Valley Paraeducators Association are excited to honor Sherry Miles as our Friend of Education Award winner for 2025. Sherry's long history as a community member and supporter of Huron Valley schools demonstrates her passion and dedication to public education. Sherry has lived in the Huron Valley community for over 20 years and currently is the Marketing and Community Outreach Director at Huron Valley State Bank. Sherry's involvement in Huron Valley schools extends back to when her children were in elementary school at Johnson and Heritage. Sherry was an active volunteer and PTO member. She also brought the Bank at School program into our elementaries for many years. After the pandemic, Sherry shifted her focus to partner with our middle school and high school teachers. Now she goes into classrooms to educate our students on banking, savings, credit, fraud, and scams. In addition, she participates in our career fairs, Future Pathways, and the Reality Store. Lisa Dunleavy, Muir Middle School teacher, states, Sherry is an amazing woman who is passionate about empowering our students in HVS with financial knowledge so that they can be wise decision makers when it comes to learning about banking and money. Sherry sees her involvement in the community as an extension of the mission of the Huron Valley State Bank, which has community banking at its core. She also sits on the board of the Huron Valley Educational Foundation as its treasurer. Sherry's enthusiasm, knowledge, and commitment to supporting our students, families, and Huron Valley schools is evident in all of the interaction she has throughout our community. Sherry views what she does as planting the seed of financial literacy to create an important foundation for our students. Those who are fortunate to know her easily observe how much she loves her job, volunteering, and the Huron Valley community. It is an honor this evening to present Sherry Miles as our Friend of Education Award winner for this year.
It does ring.
It rings and it falls off. Thank you. Because the card doesn't work, it like rings all over the place. And one more. The Huron Valley Education Association is incredibly proud to honor Scott Rolando as our Outstanding Person in Education for 2025. Scott has been an educator since 2001 with all his years at Lakeland High School. Through the years, Scott has taught a variety of high school courses spanning from science classes to school student leadership to cybersecurity to business classes. He has a wide range of expertise and for the past many years has been teaching many of our career tech courses. Scott easily states that his favorite part of the job is working with the students. He is passionate about supporting students and watching them learn and explore new skills. Lindsay Rubin, a fellow Lakeland colleague, expresses, Scott truly deserves this award because of his commitment to supporting Lakeland students and creating an environment where all his students feel valued. Scott is not only active at Lakeland High School as an educator, but he is known throughout our community as the voice of the Eagles. Scott's high energy and positivity is evident in everything he does. Scott has also been very active in the Huron Valley Education Association. He was on our executive board for 6 years and is a longtime member of our insurance committee. In addition, we are grateful that Scott was the chairperson of our Central Sick Bank for 8 years. His meticulous record keeping and supportive emails made the process seamless for when our members were in need. Scott reflects on his time in the HVEA and he shared, I gained a sense of unity and a feeling of being proud to work in a profession that makes a difference. In conclusion, Bonnie Engel, a Lakeland colleague, states, those who know Scott from the classroom, an athletic announcer, or our community know he is a true leader and leaves a lasting impact on all of us. He is a living example of inspiration. He ignites curiosity and fosters a love of learning to all he comes in contact with. Scott Rolando's influence will last throughout history, and grandchildren of grandchildren, she said, throughout time will be asking about the teacher at Lakeland, Mr. Rollo. It is our honor and privilege to present Scott Rolando as our HVEA 2025 Outstanding Person in Education Award. Oh, yeah, we're behind the podium.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Jennifer, we usually don't take a moment after your comments, but I think it would be appropriate today. Does anybody have any comments to make to both Scott or Sherry? Yes, Lindsay.
No, I just really wanted to say after I heard about the awards that were given that our association did a good job of their selection this year. So congratulations to Sherry and to Scott. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Any other comments? Very appropriate. Sherry, what was the award? Friends of Huron Valley? Friends of Education. Friends of Education. You're certainly much more than that to Huron Valley schools. All right? You're much more than a friend because you're an integral part of what we're all about. So I personally, on behalf of the rest of the board, want to say thank you for everything that you've done over and above growing up and having your children attending Huron Valley schools and all the things that you do. Scott, known you for a long time. You're a fellow Bronco. I threw a baseball at him the other day, and he actually caught it. I was amazed it didn't hit him in the face. That's right. So not only is he an athlete, but he is much more than the voice of Lakeland. I can't think of somebody that's provided not only the leadership but the relationship building over the years and the lives that you've affected with students we're very fortunate to get to know you, and you really are one outstanding educator. And not only are you the voice of Lakeland, but you're the person of Milford. And there's a lot of things that you do that people don't know that you do. And one of the things that I always look forward to is Milford Memories, and I know that you're extraordinarily involved in Milford Memories. So this is much more than just being an employee of Huron Valley. It's really embedded in the community. And this is a guy that's working on very little sleep, since he's got a child at home that's just about, what, a little bit over a year old now. 19 months, but who's counting, right? Huh? Yeah. So thank you both for these awards, long overdue, and you're very, very special and very dear to us as part of the Valley. So thank you. Yes, you can go home too if you'd like. Or you can stay. Next, we have board correspondence. Any correspondence, Secretary Pastana?
No correspondence tonight.
Treasurer's report.
None this evening.
Reports from board committee. I have an executive committee. It was held on April 22nd, 2025 at 1 o'clock in the administrative offices. The meeting was called to order. Present were myself, Member Dodd, Member Pastana, Dr. Slab, Mr. Lindberg, and Ms. Cadell. There were no one absent, and there were no public comments. Tonight, at that meeting, we discussed the agenda that's before us today. We had nothing to report as it relates to safety and security, but we're always having that on the agenda, and we're very much at the forefront of making certain that our schools are safe and secure. We also reviewed the conflict of interest policy. Dr. Salah presented to the board with draft language to update the conflict of interest policies that the board have reviewed. These updates were recommended to be added as new business at the April 28th, which is tonight, board meeting. Anti-harassment policy, Dr. Salah reviewed that policy with the committee and also will be presented tonight. EpiPen follow-up, there were some questions as it relates to EpiPen use in the district. Dr. Salah provided an update in response to questions regarding the district's EpiPen procedures followed throughout the district. Mr. Lindberg, Director of Curriculum Development, shared the transition activities planned for the middle and elementary school students and families who are moving to the new buildings. The committee discussed the next steps to be taken to help facilitate the mentor program at the middle schools next year as we transition. And Member Dodd shared information on an organization that supports student loan forgiveness through the Oakland County Fund Initiative. We adjourned at 2:08. As you'll note, the meeting only lasted an hour and 8 minutes. And the next meeting will be May 13th, 2025. So with that, next we'll have the TLT committee report.
TLT met on April 15th at Administration Building. Meeting was called to order at 4:06. Present were myself, Mr. Dimick, Ms. Cotter, Mr. Tavernier, Dr. Salah, Mr. Limber, Ms. Bjorkman, Ms. Thompson, Dr. Nemeth, Ms. Horwitz, Mr. Digsby, Ms. Tchaikovsky. I think that's right. And Alana and Leanna were our student representatives. There were no absences. Public comment, we also had in attendance Kelly Duggan. She was here to help us address the middle school mentor program. So under unfinished business, we had a discussion with a PowerPoint from Kelly about the Oak Valley Parent Mentor Program that's been around since 2009. We talked about its growth and success and moving it to the other two middle schools for next year. Both principals expressed commitment to continuing those programs at their respective schools, so we are going to continue with that. Under new business, Dr. Salah presented the board with draft language to update board policies 3110 and 3231, the conflict of interest board policies, and this item is going to be discussed again at our April 29th meeting. We discussed strategic plan, the middle school transition. Mr. Lindberg and both principals shared about upcoming orientations for the staff, parents, and students at Mirror and White Lakes middle schools. Oak Valley staff will visit the Mirror and/or White Lake on May 6th for breakfast and fun events to provide staff connections. Students and parents will visit the middle schools on May 13th for tours and scheduling. We had no safety and security updates. Under student leadership, Alana shared that Milford High School students were preparing for AP testing. She talked about the first year of boys volleyball had been a great success, and the girls tennis team was off to a strong start, although it had challenges with their weather. Additionally, the leadership team at Milford High School announced that this year's Charity Week will benefit Happy Paws, a Metro Detroit organization dedicated to rescuing stray animals and supporting families who can no longer care for their pets. Leanna reported that the atmosphere at the IA is calm as seniors count down their final 6 days before exams. The IA Peer Corp organized a fun and engaging scavenger hunt for the freshmen, which was a big hit. Leanna, also a member of the tennis team, shared that the season was going well despite the unpredictable weather. Under other items, Section 35J, Just Right reading material purchase. Ms. Bjorkman shared an additional decodable books purchase for upper elementary 3 through 5 classrooms. The district is asking the board to approve the purchase of 75 classroom sets of 60 books for $39,000 that will be paid with the Section 35J grant funds. This item will be added to new business for tonight's meeting. And then under summer programming, Ms. Bjorkman provided an update on the EL and Title I summer programs that will be offered this year. The EL summer program, which is covered by Section 41, will run for 4 weeks in July. Eligible students in grades K through 6 will be invited to attend. And in addition, a Jumpstart program for students in grades K through 2 at our Title I buildings will be offered for 2 weeks in August. The focus will be math and literature. We adjourned at 5:20, and our next meeting date is tomorrow, April 29th at 4 p.m. at administration.
Thank you very much. Next, Finance and Operations, Treasurer Grzymkowski.
Yes, Finance and Operations met on Wednesday, April 23rd at the admin building. We started at 8:04 a.m. Present were Mr. Wiseman, myself, Ms. Ryan, Dr. Salah, Mr. Van Gotha, Mr. Reby, Ms. Kerrigan, and Ms. Mariskin. We did not have any public comment. We do not have anything on the consent agenda this evening. However, we have 3 things on the unfinished business. We have bid pack 13 furnishings for Lakeland, Milford, and White Lake. The committee did not have any further questions, therefore the administration seeks approval at this evening's board meeting. We also talked about the Brooks Center easement. This is to bring water to the Brooks Center. The committee has had no additional questions regarding the contract between Huron Valley Schools and White Lake Hill LLC. The administration will therefore seek approval at this evening's board meeting. Board policy update, policy 8500. The committee had no further questions regarding the updates, and again, the administration will seek approval at tonight's meeting. New business. We reviewed the 2025-2026 Oakland Schools ISD budget. The committee discussed the budget, including services that Huron Valley receives from Oakland Schools, and we will review the resolution, giving it its blessings and without a lot of concern that we would support the 2025-2026 budget. The administration will seek approval at our next meeting on May 19th. Approval of excess fund food service purchases. The committee reviewed the proposals from Stafford Smith dated April 17th and 21st for new kitchen equipment, including elementary ovens, range, merchandisers, warmers, roll-in racks, shelving units, and work table in the amount of $200,460.09, plus a 12% contingency for electrical upgrades, for a total of a 12% contingency plus $30,000 for electrical upgrades, which brings the total package to $254,515.30. Included in the quotes was also delivery, removal, and disposal of all packaging and existing equipment. This equipment will be purchased through the MAC Service Corp., which is our co-op provider. This project will also be funded from the food service excess fund balance. Administration will seek the board's approval at tonight's meeting due to the global supply chain issues, freight surcharges, and changing tariff rates. We did not have any safety and security updates. In addition, we also talked about a conflict of interest board policy. Dr. Salah presented the committee with draft language to update board policies 3110 and 3231. We also spoke about additional school safety purchase funding. The administration spoke with the committee about using sinking funds for the short term and then doing a journal entry upon receipt of the safety and security categorical funds for this purchase. Waste removal bid and contract discussion. The committee discussed the waste removal bid contract worked on by the MAC Corp. We also talked about bond construction updates, letting us know that the Lakeland demo is complete and the floor has been filled in. And yes, I'm dying to see that too. Milford High School's demo has also begun. Administration Building Relocation Update. The committee met on April 21st to review revised furniture layouts and product selections. The admin building design at Milford High School is under plan review with Clark Construction. Middle School Steering Committee Update. We had we talked through the follow-up meetings with focus groups that will take place in May, and our final steering committee meeting that will take place on Monday, June 9th, 2025. Administration met with TMP and Clark Construction regarding Walled Lake Middle School phases of construction and the overall game plan. We also reviewed the February 28th general fund budget to actual. We discussed the concerns over our state budget. Mr. Van Gotham spoke of encumbrances and expenditures and where we stand with those and how they will be adjusted per our April 30th deadline for POs. Future discussion items. We discussed the Bogey Lake easement tentative agreement, which is awaiting initial agreement for HVS to a review. And we also talked about the WOTA discussion, and we're waiting on a counter proposal for a potential lease. Remarkably, we adjourned at 10:15 a.m., and our next meeting is May 14th at 8 a.m. And as always, I hope to see you there.
Thank you very much. Communications, Marketing, and Legislative Committee.
Good news, we haven't met since our last meeting. Our next meeting will be tomorrow, the 29th, at 2:30 at the Administration Building.
So at the May meeting, we look forward to your report. Yes. Great. Public comments. Do we have any public comments? Consent agenda. We have 3 items: minutes, exhibit A1, the check register, and summary of expenditures A2, and personnel report A3. The only thing that I would like to make comment on is that that check register is always out on our website. It's a list of bills that we have paid, and it's out under the transparency model. So that's posted on there. So with that being said, do I have a recommendation to approve the consent agenda?
I move the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items A1 through A3 as presented.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Motion made by Treasurer Giesenkowski, seconded by Member Ryan. Do I have any comments or questions? Seeing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Grzymkowski.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Dimick.
Yes.
Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next, Section 5 is unfinished business. We have items A through I. These were all discussed at the last board meeting. As pro forma, it gives us an opportunity for the next 2 weeks to have any questions clarified or answered by our superintendent or his representative. So with that, I don't believe there has been any questions, but we'll go through them because each of them need to have a motion and will be voted on. First, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Salah. A39-2, board policy updates.
Yeah, so the only item around 39.-2, I think you heard in the minutes from the executive committee, there There were some clarifying questions regarding our EpiPen policy, which is Board Policy 5330.01. More so asking for confirmation that we have 2 EpiPens in every office of every building. And I just confirmed with the executive committee that that is in fact true, that we do have, and we annually purchase 2 EpiPens within each front office of our buildings. There was also a question about buses, whether or not we have an EpiPen on every bus. I think what's important to know is the law requires 2 EpiPens per front office. It does not require an EpiPen in every bus. This is a more relatively recent legal change in the last 5 years. It is very expensive to have EpiPens in every office, and as you can imagine, it's one of those unfunded mandates. We do not receive any additional funding from the state for this. But I think what's important to note about our buses is that when a child has an allergy, they have an EpiPen on them. It's part of their plan of care, and we would provide any education necessary for the bus driver should they need to inject the child with the EpiPen. So that was the only item that I think was a follow-up from exec. It wasn't so much a question that we received between meetings, but I wanted to make sure I at least highlighted that.
Great, thank you. Any other questions before a motion? Could I have a motion, please?
Yes, I move that our board approve the 39-2 board policy as presented.
And do I have a second?
I'll support.
All right, motion made by Member Cotter, seconded by Member Dodd. See no other questions, could I have a roll call?
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next is 35J, Expressions Classroom Library Renewal. Ms. Borkman presented that along with Mr. Trevernier last board meeting. Dr. Salah?
I have not had any additional questions regarding 35J, Expressions Classrooms Library Renewal. Have you, Mr. Tavernier? No. That said, we would ask for approval as presented.
Okay, are there any questions tonight? Seeing none, could I have a recommendation or a motion, please?
I would make a motion that we approve the 35J Expressions Classroom Library Renewal.
Motion made by Treasurer Grzymkowski. Do I have a second?
Up.
Second by Member Cotter. See no other questions or comments. Could I have a vote, please? Roll call.
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next on the agenda is Math Expressions Renewal. Dr. Salam?
Yes, similarly, we have not had any questions on math expressions that I'm aware of. Mr. Tavernier, have you had any questions? No, then we would ask for approval as presented.
All right. Could I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to, I'll move that the Board of Education approve the Math Expressions renewal as presented.
And I'll support that.
Motion made by Member Dodd, seconded by Member Cotter. Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, could I have a roll call?
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, I've lost my place. Board Policy 5500 update. Dr. Salam.
So no additional questions that I'm aware of. Have you had any questions, Mr. Tavernier? No. So we are asking for the board to approve Board Policy 5500 update as presented.
Any other questions? Seeing none, may I have a motion, please?
I can make the motion for approval of Board Policy 5500 update.
All right, do I have a second?
And I'll support that.
All right, motion made by Secretary Pastanas, seconded by Member Cotter. Could I have a roll call, please?
I am a yes. Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
And Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next is computer purchase, Exhibit F. Dr. Salah?
I don't believe we've had any additional questions on this item either, so I'm seeing Mr. Tavernier shake his head no, so we're going to ask for approval as presented.
Thank you very much. I think it's important to note how massive this purchase is in the fact that it's not coming out of the general fund, it's coming out of the bond issue. And without the support of our community and with the bond issue, we would not be a one-on-one school district, and we would not have the wherewithal to be able to purchase this quantity of computers that not only refurbish but refresh the computers for our incoming middle schoolers, but do a variety of other types of technological improvements and replacements. So once again, I think it's important to note that this is funded through the bond issue, and without our support of our community, I don't really think that this would happen. And if it did, it would have an effect on us being able to really provide the necessary staffing, because 85% of our general fund are people that provide those services. So we'd have to make some hard choices. So thank you, community. With that, could I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the computer purchase as presented.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion made by Member Dimick, seconded by Member Ryan. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Next is GSRP equipment. Great Start Readiness Program is what GSRP stands for.
Yep.
Dr. Salah.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have not had any questions on this item, and neither has Mr. Tavernier, so we are asking for board approval on the Great Start Readiness Program equipment as presented.
I have one question.
Yes, Lindsay.
Although I think I read it in here, that's part of a grant, is it not?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, it's a startup grant that we received from Oakland Schools.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, good work.
So once again, this doesn't really come out of the general fund. It's a grant that allows us to buy equipment for this program.
That is correct. And I should add that it was due to an increase in enrollment, so we expanded our capacity of our GSRP program over 10%, and so that made us eligible for receiving this grant.
Great. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll move the Board of Education approve the GSRP equipment as presented.
Motion made by Member Ryan, second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Treasurer Grzymkowski. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Cotter?
Yes?
And Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, G, furnishing.
Yes, Bid Pack 13 furnishings. Yes, this item has been presented to Finance and Operations a couple of times. We heard Ms. Grzymkowski report out on it. I have not had any additional questions. Seeing Mr. Van Gotham shaking his head that he has not either, so we would ask for approval as presented.
This is new furniture for Lakeland, Milford, and White Lake Middle School, and it's out of the bond issue, correct?
Yes.
So once again, no effect to the general fund. A lot of input was given as it relates to the type of furniture by our end users, and I believe this is being purchased through our MAC services, correct?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Good. All right. Could I have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we approve the Bid Pack 13 furnishings.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Motion made by Treasurer Grzymkowski, seconded by Member Dimick. No other questions? Could I have a roll call?
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, H, Brooks Center easement, Exhibit I.
Yep, thank you. This item was presented again at Finance and Operations, and what it involves is an easement to a developer who's building some residential facilities north of the property. In exchange, they're providing us with a hookup for water. Again, this was presented at our last board meeting. I have not received any questions, and Mr. Van Gotham has not received any additional questions either, so we would ask for approval as presented.
Any other questions? This does not have any effect on our property, and you've been able to negotiate the potential hookup to water?
Yes. No impact on the property. In fact, we believe it's makes the property more valuable by having water access to the building.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Brick Center easement as presented.
Motion made by Member Dimick. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Member Ryan. Seeing no other questions, could I have a roll call?
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Next on the agenda is Board Policy Update 8500, Exhibit J. Dr. Salah.
This board policy update 8500 has been presented to Finance and Operations on a couple different occasions, and it relates to food services. We have not had any additional questions since our last board meeting. We did have some questions early on, but we addressed those questions prior to the last board meeting. So we would ask for approval of Board Policy 8500 as presented. I guess one note I would make, Trustee Ryan mentioned there is a reference to a wellness committee within this policy. I can't recall if I put something in board notes or not, so I'll just highlight that briefly. So we will have to implement a wellness committee as a school district. Ms. Rothler and I have discussed not being duplicative and trying to incorporate it with our Safety and Security Committee, because sometimes it's hard to pull another committee together. So we are looking at a process to accomplish that, and we will plan to do that for next year and have some representation on safety and security to accomplish the wellness objectives as well.
All right. Yes, Lindsay?
Well, I was just, again, preparing for tonight's meeting. When I read the board policy regarding food service, I found an interesting detail. Did you know that senior citizens who volunteer here in Huron Valley Schools get a free meal? So I thought I might just go over to Muir and offer my services and stay for lunch.
Are you saying you're a senior citizen?
Yes, I am.
And may I ask, what is the definition of a senior citizen? Is it 50, 55?
According to the golf course, it's at 50.
No, but is it in our policy?
It's in the policy.
I know, but-
They don't say age, they say senior citizen.
Oh, wow.
So
then-
if you get
Then our
hungry-
superintendent determines who's a senior citizen?
Want nothing to do with that
Okay.
at all.
Just a little information.
Well, that's interesting. Maybe you and I could have lunch together. Maybe I could, on your coattails. I'm not saying I'm a senior citizen. Okay. All right, could I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion that we approve the board policy. Okay, she said it was okay. Update policy 8500, that does include our senior citizens.
And I will second that motion.
Could I have a second, please?
Lindsay did.
Oh, Cotter seconded? All right. So who made the motion? Amy? Okay. Motion made by Member Grzymkowski, seconded by Member Cotter. Could I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
And Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. Once again, it's worthy to note that we went through a lot of old business, unfinished business, but we did have a lot of committee discussions regarding each of these items, and it was presented to the board at the last meeting. So this is not just something that we saw. The next part is new business. It goes through the process of 2 weeks, except for the one item that Treasurer Grzymkowski talked about as it related to food service equipment. The first item on the agenda, and I'm flipping back and forth, is the Oakland County School Board Association Amendment to Bylaws and Resolutions. This was provided to me, and Ms. Goodell provided it to all of us under new business. These are recommended amendments to previously adopted resolutions. These proposed resolutions and changes to our association bylaws and resolutions require a vote of our member districts. The Oakland County School Boards Association has submitted these proposed amendments to the association bylaws and resolutions for our consideration. This vote is required by June 6th, and because of our calendar, I've included these proposed amendments for us to review, with the idea at the May board meeting that this recommendation is provided to you. Please note that the changes are indicated as followed, that the deletions are in red, the strike-through font, and the additions are in bold blue underlined font, and the rationale is highlighted in yellow. So you have that in front of you. So next is conflict of interest policy updates, Exhibit L. Dr. Salah.
Hang on one second here, let me get to L. So, board policy, hang on a second here. L. So, back in February, I mentioned a board study session where we discussed a number of topics, and one of those topics of discussion was regarding the board's policy regarding matters related to conflict of interest for its employees. We actually received a communication from a Huron Valley Schools employee requesting that the Board of Education review and examine its current policy related to conflict of interest. I sought legal opinion prior to that board study session, and some additional questions were raised by board members regarding our current policy. And there was a request by the board at that evening for me to do some additional legwork and ultimately offer some suggestions for how we might move forward to make some revisions to the board policy. So what you'll find under Exhibit L are updates to board policies 3110 and 3231 specifically. Those were the two policies that we spent some time in looking at. And so these policy changes reflect three points. One, there's greater clarity from the perspective of what constitutes a conflict of interest. Two, there is greater flexibility to allow for some space in recognizing a variety of different contexts that might exist for Huron Valley Schools employees that might be engaging in activities that could be considered a conflict of interest. And three, there's going to be an annual required process for disclosure of an employee annually at the beginning of the school year through our HR department, but then anytime an employee feels there might be a conflict of interest, they can report that and give the administration an opportunity to provide permissions, depending upon the circumstances of a situation. Upon further review of the entire policy manual, we also identified board policies 1130 and 4231 that related to conflict of interest. The language that was presented to the TLT committee, the Finance and Operations Committee, and the Executive Committee is reflected verbatim in policies 1130 and 4231. So there's no deviations. The spirit of the conversations and the language in the presentation that the board heard in our committee structures remains intact and is exactly the same. So my request this evening for the board is to take the next few weeks prior to our next board meeting. Please spend some time reviewing these four policies once again. Please share any questions or feedback that you might have so that we can be prepared for our next board meeting where we will seek approval of these policies. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Just a quick clarification. One is conflict of interest, and the other one is directed towards entitled outside activities of staff. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, the two really work hand in hand. If you review Board Policy 3110, it makes reference to Board Policy 3231.
So this is, this discussion began at our board study session. We've had a lot of conversations. You've had an opportunity to discuss this in various subcommittees, and now it's in front of us as new business, and we'll formally have the next 2 weeks to ask any further clarifications before it's brought forth.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is board policy regarding anti-harassment. Dr. Salah?
Yes, thank you. So this policy regarding anti-harassment is a procedural item within the board policy. So if you look at page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's the 8th page of Board Policy 1662. What you'll notice is on page 7 and 8, it refers to a process that will be followed should there be a harassment complaint made to our Human Resources Department. The second step in this process is an appeal process. Should a complainant have a question, or for that matter, I suppose a respondent has a question regarding the investigatory process that was followed, the policy says that that individual may appeal the superintendent, that the superintendent will review a final investigative report within 5 days, and then respond and/or initiate additional investigation. When we adopted this policy back in March 21st of 2022, there were two options. There was one, to have the superintendent be the final appeal, or two, to have the Board of Education be the final appeal. We selected the superintendent. But what I noticed when reviewing this policy in managing a situation within the district is that the board is still mentioned here. So there's two conflicting final appeal processes. One is the superintendent, and it says that the decision of the superintendent shall be final. And then the second is the Board of Education, and it says the decision of the board will be final. So we can't have two contradictory statements. So what you have is a red line version where we are redlining the board being the final decision and the superintendent, rather the superintendent being the final decision as the day-to-day chief executive officer for the organization. But certainly that's subject to discussion from the board if there's a preference to switch that. But we can only have one. We can only have one final decision maker. So, Board Policy 1662, 3362, 4362, and 5517 all have similar language. So I would ask that you review these four policies. Please pose any questions, express any concerns that you might have, and between now and our next board meeting, and we'll be happy to address those.
So the only change in all of these policies basically is who has the final say.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And originally, when it was passed by the existing board back in 2022, it was the superintendent, and unfortunately, upon your review, that was never struck.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
If you have any questions about that, please see Dr. Salam as it relates to that item. Next is D, Section 35J, Just Right Reading Material Purchase. Dr. Salam.
And I would ask Mr. DeVernier to take item D.
Yeah, and I am going to turn it over to our Director of State and Federal Programs, Jennifer Bjorkman.
Good evening. First of all, thank you so much for your approval of our rather large classroom library book purchase. We'll be excited to order those tomorrow. So in our review of the grant, we noticed that the Just Right readers that were in the grant were not a book source purchase, so we needed to come back and ask for approval for those as they are a different line item from a different company. So we are asking today for, just to give you some information about the books that we would like to purchase, our final purchase from 35J. These are books for grades 3 through 5, so it's 75 classroom sets. Each set includes 60 books. They are books that specialize or focus on grade level morphology, so the parts of looking at different parts of words. And so these will be used independently in the classroom, just in addition to the classroom library. So again, just an additional set of books to support our 3rd through 5th grade classrooms and the final purchase for 35J. Any questions I can answer?
Any questions at this time? If there is, we'll pass them on to Dr. Salah. We'll pass them on to Mr. Trevernio, who will pass them on to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next, Oakland Schools ISD budget. Dr. Salah?
Yes, thank you. And I would ask Mr. Van Gotham to address item E.
Thank you, Dr. Slaw. So on an annual basis, the school district receives a proposed budget from Oakland Schools, and Oakland Schools provides a variety of services for the district. We typically have talked about PA 18, which is a millage that is passed through the district that has grown quite substantially to the tune of between $8.5 and $9 million annually for us, and so we obviously have a lot of reliance on that with how we go about using our funding. They're also big with respect to GSRP and the transportation of GSRP students. Early on, 54D, which is at-risk students from birth to 3. We have the IDEA flow-through and preschool grants, which again are for our most vulnerable student support service students. This year you saw this evening, Mr. Tavernier pointed out the GSRP startup funds, which was coming through Oakland Schools. They also provide K-12 career readiness monies. They have actually provided, when we send teachers to continuing ed seminars at Oakland Schools, they have provided us with reimbursement for our substitute teachers. And then something that Ms. Wenger and I are able to take advantage of, they have a leadership academy for both the human resource and the business office program, trying to basically establish a little bit of a residency as well as some training so that we can generate additional human resource leaders as well as business office leaders, because just like we have challenges with finding the best teachers out there just because of numbers, we also are very challenged with respect to the business office programs and finding leaders who want to take on lead business official roles as well as some of those support roles, as well as some of the HR programs, and finding good leaders like we have in the district. So a healthy variety of things that the Oakland Schools does for us. But on an annual basis, they ask the board of all the school districts to approve or not approve the general fund budget. So we've had a chance to look at that. We had a good conversation in F&O, and I can be available for questions this evening or over the next 2 weeks. We will seek approval in mid-May's board meeting.
Any questions of Jeffrey right now? This budget, I have a copy. I know Amy, as board treasurer, you have a copy. Copies of the budget are available to any of the board members for their review.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's not part of the board packet right now. It's a number of pages. So, and we are one of 28 other school districts that have this, that need to take a look at, review, and vote yay or nay as it relates to Oakland Schools budget.
Yeah, and it's important to note, Mr. Wiseman, that when the board has had the opportunity to look at it, this board has been really good about not rubber stamping the budget, but taking a look at all the things behind the budget. Several years ago, you actually gave me permission to go back to the Oakland Schools to express some concerns with some generous compensation in a period where we were all kind of, challenged with our individual budgets. So the board definitely takes a look at the Oakland Schools budget and pays attention to it, and is responded to the ins and outs that take place on an annual basis. So I just wanted to point that out for the community, that this is not something that you guys are just moving through the process, but you do take a detailed look at it, not only how it affects Huron Valley schools, but also the county in total.
And they're, right now they're not negotiating new contracts. They have a contract that's in existence, and what is the percentage increase?
So they 2% for everybody.
For everybody, 2%. And I was noticing on page 58, they had some highlights. It's kind of interesting because I think one of the things that we're very fortunate, there's a countywide millage for a career and technical education that we benefit from because many of our students take advantage of going to the various campuses, and Oakland Schools provides that opportunity for those students, and it doesn't cost the district anything. In fact, we get the foundation, and they get the cost. So we get the revenue, and they get the expense, so that's not a bad deal. And that's one of the things that provides services to us, and it's a countywide millage. The other countywide millage is our special ed millage, the PA-18 money. And one of the things that we put into place a number of years ago is that is a separate fund, a separate bucket, and their fund balance can never exceed 5%. And really what it is a pass-through, and it's dollars that go directly to the local school districts. And because of that, I believe, Jeffrey, we've picked up some additional dollars this year, and next year we're planning on an increase also because of that.
Yeah, so we're looking at, like I had said at the beginning of my conversation about this, between $8.5 and $9 million on the gross level, and then Oakland Schools also requires us to pay tuition for some of the center-based programs where some of our kiddos attend. So the net effect has grown I would say substantially over the last several years, to where, again, when we look at a budget of, over $100 million or just over $100 million, to talk about 8.5 or 9%, that has a very big impact on what we're doing in Huron Valley.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Once again, next couple weeks, if you'd like to have a copy of this, Dr. Sla, Jeffrey will provide that to you. There's a lot of information here, but I would reference you to that last page because there are some highlights as it relates to the budget and what assumptions that they have made as they built that budget. Yes, Amy?
So just for our board members who don't sit in finance and operations, we took a really hard look at this budget. We were pleased with some of the expenditures, but just so you know too, there are some expenditures in there for some future build-outs, if you will, for new curriculum, new opportunities for our students. OSTC, which is Oakland Schools Technical Campuses, there are 4. Just a couple weeks back, Ms. Ryan and Ms. Pastana and Mr. Wiseman, Dr. Salon, I attended the Clarkston dinner there. And you can really see where a lot of the funding goes to when you go to these campuses. They're also working on some nanotechnology, and they're working on I believe it's the Southeast campus, is going to have some additional STEM and some pretty, really, quite frankly, cutting edge opportunities for our students. Those don't come into effect, I think, until 26, 27 or 27, 28. But that takes some time to build out, and let's be honest, it always takes money. So there are funds earmarked in this budget for that. I know that Dr. Salah serves on a committee that helps, and I think, and helps frame those conversations. I'm pleased that Huron Valley has a say, if you will, and has a seat at the table, because our students take up all of our seats for OSTC and then some. It's a great program, so I appreciate the work that Oakland Schools does, but we still have to be mindful of the fact that it's still our responsibility to oversee that budget. So lots of good conversation in finance and operation.
Thank you, Amy. Any other comments? Once again, next 2 weeks, and it'll be presented to us with a recommendation. Next, approval of excess funds, food service purchases. Our treasurer, Grzymkowski, talked about in her report why this is not going through the 2% process. We're going to ask for approval tonight, so I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Salah right now.
Yeah, thank you, and I will ask Mr. Vinkleton to speak to this item.
Thank you, Dr. Salah. So as Ms. Grzymkowski pointed out, we have the blessing of excess fund balance. So when The food service fund balance reaches a certain point as it relates to, being able to support expenditures. The state requires us to spend that balance down. And so one of the ways that we're going to try to do that is through equipment that would have normally been purchased through our bond program. But one of the ways that we can use money would be through purchases like capital projects, as well as even the on-schedule money that we provided our staff over the last several years. So as a result of those two factors, we're able to spend down the fund balance according to basically state requirements. And so what we want to do is order some equipment here today if possible, so that one, we can avoid upcoming tariffs and surcharges that the market is dictating, and be able to have the equipment on site within the next 2 months. Because when the auditors come knocking on the door in September, they're going to want to see that we not only gave those increases in wages, but also spent some additional dollars down, in this case, with some necessary food service equipment to support our kitchens. So we are asking for one reading tonight, just as a result of, more of the pressure for potential tariffs and surcharges with the market being what it is today.
Since this is kind of out of character, this is the first time that some of us have seen this. Do you have any questions? I know, Amy, I know that was presented at Finance and Operations. Is this equipment portable?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be able to utilize it if a site that might not need it.
Yeah, a majority of the stuff is going to be used in buildings that we're not leaving.
Okay.
But yeah, for those buildings, if we do decide to move, when we do decide to move away from them, we can carry these around, yep.
And it's really, the excess funds it's a requirement to spend that down, and that's part of our plan, is to spend down that fund balance.
Yeah, so we're required to spend that fund balance down, and it can be used for food service only, because again, when you think about, well, if we have excess fund balance, why aren't we taking care of some other staff or, different area? We have a lot of different areas, obviously, that the district supports, but we need to utilize the dollars for food service. So, we haven't been, when we do raises for food service staff, that's not coming out of the general fund. And in this case, what would typically be a capital projects or a bond purchase can be made with these excess funds, just because we've been blessed with serving a lot of meals, and the state of Michigan is still providing us so much per meal that, we're generating proceeds or profit as a result of that.
So some of these funds were allocated within our bond issue, but because we have these excess funds, and now we're able to spend it specifically out of food service as opposed to the bond issue.
Yes, this whole purchase is actually going to be something that would have typically come from a bond program, but it's helping us. And then obviously, as we've kind of pulled the curtain back on some of the capital projects, the $245,000 will go a long way to help us do some other things that we haven't been able to do within our bond program. And we'll continue, my expectation is that we'll continue to see excess fund balances as we're serving as many meals as we do, and introducing a breakfast program like we did several years ago. And so with that being said, we will continue to look at not only, potential wages as we revisit those contracts, but also capital purchases that can stay away from our bond program, so we can use those on other things that are necessary for the district as well.
Great, thank you. Laura?
Are other districts continually experiencing the same surplus in this area, or are we unique?
Most districts that have, systems in place are seeing an excess fund balance. So I would say more often than not, Ms. Dodd, we are seeing people who have the same challenge and are utilizing the dollars in the same manner that we're requesting.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, do I have a recommendation to go ahead and approve this purchase?
I'll make the motion that we approve the access fund service purchase.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made by Treasurer Gierzynkowski, seconded by Member Dimick. Any other questions or clarifications? Seeing none, could I have a roll call?
Ms. Grisomkowski.
Yes.
Mr. Dimick.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public comments on non-action items. Anything? No? Next, good and welfare. Good and welfare. Amy?
Sorry, I think Miss Dodd was first because she was.
No, I'm not. You were first.
All right,
Amy, you'll have to wait.
I'm sharing my congratulations with our Milford High School and Lakeland High School thespians who were nominated for the Sutton Foster Awards. We have Grant Camden and Amelia Dalbus from Milford, and Katie Williams and Nolan Osterhart from Lakeland. They will be competing on June 1st at the Wharton Center with some of the best musical theater students from around the state. In the Sutton Foster Awards, and the winners, both a male winner and a female winner, will then have an opportunity to go to New York. We have had students from our program do that. So wishing Grant, Amelia, Katie, and Nolan best wishes as they get ready for this in the coming weeks.
Great.
And it's open to the public, so if you are a musical theater lover, it's very fun to watch. June 1st at Wharton Center at 6:30 p.m.
And the Wharton Center is located?
East Lansing on the campus of Michigan State University.
Very good. Amy?
I just want to wish our high school students good luck on your AP exams. You have been all studying very hard all year long to learn your subject, and I wish you well. And I'm really sorry for those of you that need to take your exam on May 6th when we do not have school, but know that we're thinking about you.
Any other good and welfare? Just a couple things. Number one, I just want to say thank you for giving us an update on our middle schools. The work that our subcommittees have been doing is absolutely invaluable, and I'm glad that we're taking the time to make certain that we not only listen, but we turn around and give feedback and give everybody another opportunity. I know administration, along with our teachers, have been working very hard as it relates to master planning our two new high schools, and look forward to the June meeting so that we can see what that plan is, and at the same time, looking forward to it being presented to the public and to the rest of the board after that. Or middle schools, what did I say?
New high school.
No, middle schools. Cut that. I did not say high schools, I said middle schools, all right? The other thing is, it's amazing, I was looking at my look-ahead calendar because it's going to be May 1st on Thursday? And the number of events that our board has been invited to as it relates to our honors and coming up at first part of June, our graduation, it's really a great time to celebrate our achievements of our students, and we're all part of that. Our honors at the high school level doesn't happen just at the high school level. It's an entire growth from pre-K all the way through. So all of us, no matter what your responsibilities in the district, ought to be celebrating, because it truly is the entire district that provides that leadership and that wherewithal for our students to be successful, no matter what your role is, because we're all part of making our students successful, no matter what your responsibility is. And that's what makes Huron Valley special. So I'm going to leave that with good and welfare. Dr. Salah, do you have anything